Protection orders provide applicants with the means to take control of their safety and well-being. By obtaining a protection order, a person in a vulnerable situation can legally prevent an abuser from being in their residence, neighborhood, business, school, or workplace, engaging in direct or indirect communication, example, telephone, emails, letters, approaching the applicant within a specified distance, or causing or encouraging another person to do same. Protection orders can also force the abuser to return the applicant's property, pay compensation for monetary loss incurred by the applicant, as a result of domestic violence, such as medical expenses, dental expenses, pay interim maintenance for the applicant or a child, vacate any place or residence, even if owned or rented by the abuser, give up to the police any licensed firearm or weapon that he may have, pay or continue to pay the rent or mortgage for the applicant's premises, ensure that reasonable care is provided with respect to the child or dependent person, or both, and the applicant or both, receive professional counseling or therapy, or any such prohibitions and directions as consented to by the applicant or the respondent, or both. The matter of whether protection orders has been effective has been widely discussed in the public, and the Senator raised elements of it. Instances of violations, as the Senator just revealed and reminded us, are well publicized, but the public is less aware of how these things actually work, and he alluded to it. They actually work, because you just have to wonder for a moment, Mr. President, what would the scenario have been in the absence of this? So there have been breaches. As a matter of fact, might I say, that since 2020, that amendment, since 2020, between July 2020, after the amendment, to the present date, there were 880 instances of breaches. So human beings break the law. People will do things, paper or not. Some 400, though, and 50 of those have been arrested and charged in the same period. So it is the response of the state, and particularly the role of the law enforcement personnel, that really gives flesh to the skeleton of the piece of paper which reflects the order of the court. And as you would have heard a moment ago, the order of the court, or orders of the court, are quite expansive following the amendments of 2020, Mr. President. Protection orders provide legal documentation that prohibits an individual from contacting or being near the person. It helps the police in situations where there is a history of domestic violence. The Domestic Violence Act even went one step further in assigning responsibility to police officers, where the court directs that an applicant for protection order is served personally on the respondent by a police officer. And should the application not be served within 5 days, the police officer is obligated to file a notice within 2 days thereafter and bring this to the attention of the court. So it imposed obligations on the infrastructure, in this case on the police officers. Police officers play a vital role in enforcing protection orders to ensure safety of the individuals who are at risk of harm. When a protection order is in place, it is the responsibility of law enforcement to respond promptly and effectively to any violations of the said order. This may involve investigating reports of violations, making arrests, as I have explained, and taking steps to protect the individual who has been granted the protection order. Thus, officers have continued to provide a sense of security for the vast majority of those, in fact, I dare say all of those who are in danger, and to prevent further harm and hold perpetrators accountable. What may be required is a constantly improving and engaging and more robust application of these protections by the police in what we describe as a zero-tolerance mode, and a cultural shift on the part of the entire society, rendering this aspect of violence, because domestic violence is a subset of violence generally. These, Mr. President, are the measures that have been put in place and are being given effect in order to protect victims of domestic violence, potential victims even.